Hello, everyone, and we want to thank you for coming this evening. We have some very special guests, and we are super excited. I'm Becky Morris, and I've been with LifeVantage for about 3.5 years, and I have a mobile personal training company that I've had for 22 years, and never would have seen myself sharing a product until now. So never say never. And it was something that I had never seen before that was backed by science and peer-reviewed studies and a NASDAQ company, and it had all the elements that I needed to be able to share that with my clients that are like family to me. So this evening we have Dr. Nancy Bryan, who is in town from Phoenix, Arizona, and she is a pharmacist, a biochemist, a veterinary and medicinal formulator, a certified diabetes educator, a breast cancer survivor, melanoma cancer survivor, and probably one of the most profound things that stands out to me is the impact that she has had on the lives of children and their families across the country who are autism. And I know a year ago it was 40, and I'm sure it's hundreds now, and to be able to help children and their families, to me, is priceless. And we also have from Ocala, Florida, Bonnie and Kim Heath, and they are going to share with us their knowledge of the equine industry and the impact that it's had on both them personally and on their own horses. So thank you very much. We appreciate you guys being here. And Dr. Bryan, thank you.
Well, first of all, thanks everybody for coming tonight. And Becky, thanks for doing such a great job and putting together all this technology, allowing people from all over the place to be able to hear our message and to hear some information that we're hoping will help people tonight. And for those of you that might be hearing some of this for the first time, we're here really to help you to understand some information about something that is really changing lives in a lot of ways. And as Becky had mentioned, my background is I'm a pharmacist, but I have not really practiced pharmacy, so to speak, in quite some time. I really do specialize more in formulating products in the veterinary world currently. Speak to zoos and veterinarians all over the country, and really do enjoy what I do. It's a little bit different than human medicine, that's for sure. But my path to get to that point started quite some time ago, and my background has been in about every part of pharmacy that you can think of. When I first got out of pharmacy school, the first thing I did was go to work for a pharmaceutical company, and was actually one of the first women that was hired by the pharmaceutical industry, and it was a real eye-opener for me. I learned a lot about studies. I learned a lot about kind of how the whole prescription world operated, and I enjoyed it at the time. It was a lot about diabetes at the time with the company I was with, and met my husband there, so that had some really good things. But then I left that world because there were things about it that were starting to just not make sense for me. And my biochemistry background is what's always been the driver for me and what I do. I've always cared about wellness for people from a perspective of trying to help them understand their own wellness and empowering them to understand information. And by doing that, hopefully that will help them on their wellness journey. And so for many years, I did long-term care in nursing homes and saw many, many people come into those nursing homes on many, many medications. Spent a lot of time with the doctors reviewing all those medications, and found that as time went on, I just didn't feel that people's health improved with all of those medications. And so I started a journey of looking into nutrients and nutritionals. And that journey started quite a while back. Gosh, when I first started looking into it, it was when the beginning of antioxidants started. People talked about antioxidants rarely when I brought it up. It was like I had three heads. They didn't know what antioxidants were. And now, gosh, I think you can get it in bubble gum, and I don't know, it's in everything. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that tonight, because people need to understand what antioxidants are, and it'll have a lot to do with what we're going to talk about tonight. But at any rate, one thing that I did not do a very good job of was taking care of my stress. And I think we all get caught up in what we do for jobs and for our living, and in living with our families and running around and doing all the things we do. And because I did not take care of stress, and because I have genetics that definitely brought me to the place that it did, I ended up having breast cancer. And it was a pretty big shock, because at the time when I had breast cancer, I was probably one of the healthiest people that my friends knew. I had exercised all the time. I had eaten all the right things. I knew about antioxidants. And so when I first found out that I had breast cancer, a lot of my friends were just, they were just like, oh my gosh, there's just no hope. We might as well just eat a hot dog. I mean, they were just literally thrown back. And I'm not going to lie, I was too. I was really upset about it. I thought I had done everything that I was supposed to do, and this wasn't supposed to happen to me. Well, I went through several surgeries, chemotherapy, radiation, and then when I finally got kind of back on my feet again, then I had a melanoma. And when you live in Arizona, having skin cancer is not ideal. It's really difficult to be out of the sun. You're in the sun all the time, even just driving in your car. It's just impossible to escape that. And so I was really frustrated, and kind of started taking a look at different things that might help me. One of the things that came to be from all of that is that I had to go see the dermatologist every 3 months. That was part of the deal. And every time I went, I got something cut and burned off me. And I'm going to tell you that it hurts, it's a pain, and they don't heal quickly. And it was very frustrating. Some of them were on my face. And you know what? I can be pretty vain, like a lot of other people. And he was telling me that there was a ridge along my nose that was very troublesome. And I was getting very nervous about that. And so I had continued to take a look at different things that were out there, and really didn't see anything that really looked like it was going to make a difference for me. And I also had been going to my oncologist every 6 months, and my cancer titers just weren't improving. And this had went on now for about 5 years. And again, I was exercising. I was eating all the diets that I'm supposed to be eating right, and vegetables and all those things. And just really still looking. And a friend of mine who's a surfer in California went to a meeting. He had lots of skin cancer himself. Surfers tend to have that happen. And he went to a meeting, and they shared with him a product. And so he knows my background and knows how much I really look into studies. And he called me over that weekend and said, there's a study that you need to see. And he said, I want your opinion on this, because I'm really getting sick and tired of things being cut and burned off me as well. And so I took a look at this study, and it was from Louisiana State University. And the first thing that caught my attention was, in all the studies that I've seen on nutrients, I had never seen a study list a nutritional by its name. And in this study, they were using this product by name, Protandim, and what they were doing in this study that stood out to me was it was an independent study. The people that actually make this product weren't who were paying for the study. And that is really unusual. And so I thought, boy, I'm going to pay attention to this study. And I took a look at it, and it was about the rodents being painted in a toxic substance that would cause cancer. And there were a group that received Protandim and a group that did not. The group that did not all died. These were toxic chemicals that they were putting on them. Things known to cause terrible types of skin cancer. And the group that did receive Protandim none of them died, and very few of them had even developed cancer. And if they did develop cancer, it was a very, not as serious type of cancer. And so that really did catch my attention. And so after he sent me that study, I called him back and I looked at the ingredients in it, and I told him, I said, you know what? There's nothing in this that's going to hurt you. Go ahead and you can take it. And meanwhile, I'm going to do some more research because I want to know more about it. And at that point in time, he had someone that he had gone to the meeting give me a call. And when they gave me a call, they said, we would love for you to take a look at a video. And this video will help you understand and explain a little bit more of what this company is and what this product is. And so tonight I'd like to share that video with you. That's kind of what was the start for me in terms of taking a look at this really seriously as something that can change people's overall health. And so I'd like you to watch the video, and then we'll talk a little bit more about what happened after this video, because this was an investigative report. And I don't know if you've seen very many investigative reports. This was just a tiny little biotech company in Denver. They had like 6 doctors. And they weren't expecting people to come in and take a look at this company. And those don't usually end well. And so you can watch this video, and it was done in 2005. So we'll tell you a little bit more about the rest of the story after you watch the video, but I think it's important for you to see because some really crazy things happened after this aired. All right?
You want to get an edge on turning back the clock with just a few pills? Who doesn't? Well, it's no longer science fiction, but science possibility, a potential breakthrough. As I found out firsthand, there may be a way to erase years, at least inside my body. Granted, it's down the road, but some scientists are wondering if a new pill I took might offer a very long life. It may not look like the fountain of youth, but inside this
You all, but we are still technologically challenged. That's why we have edit buttons. Just pause. I'll share. Big first.
You want to get an edge on turning back the clock with just a few pills? Who doesn't? Well, it's no longer science fiction, but science possibility, a potential breakthrough. As I found out firsthand, there may be a way to erase years, at least inside my body. Granted, it's down the road, but some scientists are wondering if a new pill I took might offer a very long life. It may not look like the fountain of youth, but inside this nondescript building, I'm about to become part of an exciting experiment, a kind of guinea pig. Dr. McCoy, okay. I'm here at the University of Colorado in Denver to meet Dr. Joe McCoy, a world-renowned scientist.
This is pretty exciting stuff you're finding, huh?
It is. We're very excited about it.
His latest research could very well unravel the mystery of aging itself. And his decades of experiments may have the potential of adding years to people's lives and possibly prevent chronic diseases like cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. It all centers around this small yellow pill, and for me, it begins with a blood test.
It wouldn't be the first time I've given blood for this company.
They want to check my levels of something called T-bars, which is a rough indicator of a person's actual age. T-bars can identify a condition known as oxidative stress, a kind of measure of the wear and tear on our bodies. Oxidative stress, like the rusting of an engine, is not a good thing.
Bad for the body,
Leading to disease.
leading to disease and leading to malfunction, and importantly, leading to what we call aging. It is a slow progression of increasing oxidative stress. That's the main characteristic biochemically of the aging process.
The problem of aging begins with the very food we eat to give us energy. As our cells burn that food, they also release toxic chemicals. Those chemicals, you may know them as free radicals, react with all the components of our cells, literally bombarding them millions of times per second, damaging all our cells. The result? Oxidative stress. We all have it. The body fights back with a system of defenses. It makes two antioxidant enzymes, catalase and SOD, whose job is to gobble up the free radicals before they can harm our cells.
So, doctor, how often do I take these?
And so, here I go. With that swallow, I've just become part of a potentially landmark scientific experiment.
Doesn't taste bad.
It's called Protandim, and tests on both mice and humans have already shown that it revs up the manufacture of those good enzymes in our bodies. More enzymes, fewer free radicals to harm us.
Right now, all we know is that this preparation decreases oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is not a disease, just like aging is not in itself a disease, but it's something that accompanies and is attached to many disease processes. So you can see the age-related.
Normally, oxidative stress, measured by those T-bars, increases with age. But in Dr. McCord's tests, taking just one pill of Protandim a day reversed that trend for everyone at every age, even for an 80-year-old.
They all are reduced to the level of oxidative stress that one would expect, frankly, in a newborn or a very young child.
High oxidative stress is associated with more than aging. It's been linked to hundreds of illnesses.
It's at the very center of many diseases: liver disease, diabetes, emphysema, asthma. I've studied all of these: strokes, heart attacks, even mental disease. Yes, depression, Alzheimer's disease, depression.
Dr. James Crapo with the National Jewish Medical Center in Denver is also researching Protandim for the company. But what about my progress? After nearly 2 weeks now, it's time to get my results. Dr. McCord calculates the numbers. The result? My level of oxidative stress has declined dramatically.
45%, that's excellent.
Just look at where I fall on the graph, before and after.
Which, if extrapolated back, is the level you would see in a newborn baby.
Would you suggest I keep taking this supplement?
I would. I can't guarantee it's going to extend your life. I can't guarantee it's going to eliminate any diseases or cure any diseases.
But we do know that oxidative stress is part of those disease processes. I don't want to wait until I'm 80 years old and find out that I should have taken it.
The company that makes Protandim says its tests show the pill, made from ingredients used for centuries, is absolutely safe. But because it's being sold as a nutritional supplement and not a drug, Protandim does not need FDA approval for safety.
It's the little yellow pill that scientists say could eliminate chronic diseases and help you live well into your hundreds. Kim Yones has been taking Protandim for 2 weeks now and tells Extra,
I am sleeping better. I feel a lot better and also energized when I do wake up.
You know, as a patient advocate, I stumbled upon Protandim almost 3 years ago. Someone introduced me to Protandim. I just looked at the research and figured out, hey, wait a minute, I have to take 360 oranges in one day to get the same effect of one pill. So, antioxidants, these are still good, right?
Oh, not only are they good, but we've breathed a whole new life into this topic. We now know that you can actually boost your own body's defenses without even just taking vitamin C by eating lots of colorful fruits and vegetables. But there's also a new supplement on the market called Protandim that is made from an extract of herbs that actually upregulates and boosts your natural manufacturing of antioxidant enzymes. So this is going to reduce those harmful free radicals, reduce some of that cell damage associated with disease, and this is a double thumbs up.
How do you find the energy to keep doing it night after night? We get a lot of comments. So people have been emailing me and saying they love how you look, like you're ageless. It's incredible. So
I have a secret.
What is your secret?
I have a secret formula. And it's a company called LifeVantage. They came up with a product called Protandim. Now, what causes the aging process is free radicals in our body, oxidative stress. This Protandim stuff, I've been taking it for 2 years.
We have it on the table right now.
Clinically proven to slow the aging process down. It reduces the oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days. So I tested it, and it works. And the nice thing, it's not pharmaceutical. It's real food.
I'm going to have to give it a try.
You want to...
Okay, so
Hold on. Just a second.
so that was the investigative report. And what happened from that was amazing. There were scientists that knew and understood what Dr. McCoy was talking about when he was talking about what this product did. And they got very excited because they had been looking for a while to find one particular thing to do what they've been talking about. And in fact, when I was a biochemistry student, I knew about Dr. McCoy. He studied McCoy units. That was part of what we learned. And we learned the significance of superoxidase dismutase and catalase in the body and glutathione. And so when I watched this video and I saw him on there, I had the same exact reaction that a lot of these scientists had. And so what happened? Well, what happened is they were inundated with requests from the scientists, and they were inundated with orders. And as I said, we had 6 scientists in Denver that were doing research. They didn't know how to run a business. They didn't know how to have inventory or try to set up manufacturing processes or do any of those things. And so here they are with $5 million worth of orders. And the next thing that happens is when they finally start getting some of those orders out, it took something like 7 to 8 months across that process to get the product to a point that they really could be shipping it. A lot of people's interest kind of went away because they, were kind of people in America that expect something now, and they didn't get it now. And so some of the people were disinterested or lost interest. They tried to market it through certain health food stores like GNC, through CVS Pharmacy, and people didn't know what they were even looking for. When they would send out the box, it would come with no information. The people that would put them out into their stock or put it on display, they didn't even know what it was for or be able to explain it. And so what happened is scientists were able to go get some of the product they wanted to research it. But as time was going on, the actual selling of the product, the stock had gone up to $20 a share at the anticipation that this was going to be huge. And then it went down to 70 cents because they couldn't supply it. They were selling like 1 bottle every other month or something out of certain stores. And it was just really pathetic. And so the scientists, though, continued to do their research and continued to request it. So all these studies started to happen. By the time 2009 came around, they were really grumpy. They knew they had something that was really special, but they were frustrated. They did not know how to market it. They did not know how to get it out there. And so they had people come in and help them to understand they needed to take a look at this and do it in a different manner. It was a story that needed to be told. And the only way to get that story told was person to person. So what ended up happening is in 2009, the company did not want to do it as a multi-level network marketing type company, but they said, you know, we're at a point we have to make a decision. So they had half the company the way they were, and the other half, they started doing it as by word of mouth and do it as a network marketing company. And 3 months into their little experimentation, it was so, just so vivid in their mind, the difference once people heard the story. The numbers of sales and the number of people getting on the product, which was their ultimate goal, just was exploding on the side where people could share this story. And was still doing really nothing on the other side. So in 2009, they did become a multi-level marketing company where people like you and I would be able to share our stories and to be able to share the information. And so when I first saw the video, for me personally, the science part of it just really captured my imagination. At that point in time, I knew it was a multi-level marketing company because of the person that sent me the video. I, like many people, did not really want to be part of a multi-level marketing company, but I said, you know what, this product is amazing. I see all these studies. I'm going to take the product. And so I called my friend back. Sure enough, we both got started on the product. And to fast forward, I had just, when he called me with this information to begin with, been to the dermatologist, and I literally had little band-aids and things all over me. And 3 months later, when my appointment was coming up, I was really interested to see how well I was going to do. And when I went in, it was pretty amazing because my dermatologist, you know, he's great. I'm really grateful for him. But that day, he couldn't find anything. And he literally was going all over me. I mean, it was so extensive. I was just laughing at him. It was a baboon mom trying to find little fleas on her baby or something. It was like under my hair and everything. And you know what? He didn't find any spots at all. And you know what? With this company and with this product, you cannot make claims. It's a nutritional product, so you can't make any claims about it curing, mitigating, treating, any of those types of things. But I can tell you that I've moved on now to still every 3 months, and it's been over 2 years, and I've never had one more thing during this process. And I have to tell you how grateful I am for that, because that really was something that made a big difference for my own personal life. Also, during that same time frame, when I first got the product and started taking it, I had no idea about any of the other types of things because I really didn't understand all of the science behind it yet. I was still learning. And what I didn't realize that what Protandim was doing was it wasn't doing anything particular to my skin. It wasn't doing anything in particular to stopping cancer. What it was doing is it was going into my body and it was signaling a pathway. And when it goes into your body and it goes into your cell, our cell has a nucleus, which is the brains of the operation of our cell. And that kind of tells all the different structures of the cell how to operate. That takes out all the trash from all that oxidative stress that we're talking about. And what oxidative stress is it's simply all of the wear and tear that your cell goes through. We have a mitochondria that's kind of the engine, the battery operation, and it gets all the work done. It gives the cell the energy. And so what Protandim does is it goes into this pathway and it signals to the nucleus to go do its job. And unfortunately, when we're younger, it keeps going while we're young, and when we hit about 20 to 25 years old, those survival genes kind of go to sleep. And when they go to sleep, that's at the phase where you're young and you're looking great and looking great and looking great and caring and all this. And then all of a sudden, things start going in the other direction. And what Protandim does is it goes in that protein pathway, that Nrf2 pathway, and it signals back to the nucleus again, hey, you've got stuff going on in here, wake up. And it helps get all that trash out. It signals the mitochondria to work. It does a lot of those kinds of things. And so when I started looking at that science, I started understanding the basis of this product, why the scientists were so excited. Because due to that process, it increased those enzymes like glutathione 300%. I know there's no oral supplementation that will cause your glutathione to go up. You have to receive that by IV. And I knew that. And I knew how many disease states were affected by having low glutathione. And so that whole process started making sense to me. And one of the first things that I saw right away after starting to take it, before I even knew the skin hurt was going to happen, I had a lot of joint pain. And from the medications I take from my breast cancer treatments, I still have a pill I have to take all the time. And it just really causes a lot of problems with your joints and caused a lot of problems with my bones. And as a result of it, I didn't sleep very well. And the first week I started taking it, oh my goodness. I literally woke up one morning and I was like frightened because I had slept all night. And I had slept all night because I didn't hurt. My shoulder wasn't hurting, my knee wasn't hurting, things weren't hurting. And so that started thought processes in my mind. And at that point, I had a friend named Arlene. And Arlene's daughter and son, 2 of her 5 children, have autism. And I've known her for quite some time, and we worked a lot with nutritionals. And she's worked really hard to keep her 2 children home. And it was especially difficult with her daughter. Adrienne has had just many, many, many different issues that have gone on. Her control issues were huge. And I hadn't talked to Arlene in a little while, but I had, for some reason, she kept going through my mind, and I thought I'm supposed to call her, so I did. And when I did, she told me I needed to come over to her house immediately. She had a crisis. So I don't know why, but when I went over, the first thing I did was grab my protein because I was thinking, I know something's going on with her, and I know this won't hurt her. And so we got over there, and I helmet on and a straight jacket. She'd been hurting herself so severely. They were doing all they could to try to keep her from hurting herself. She was pulling her hair out, literally pulling all her hair out. And so the first thing I did was look into her medications. And sure enough, there was a medication that I knew was turning her whole digestive tract on fire. And there was no way for her to tell anyone. She could not speak. She was 20 years old, could not speak and tell someone. And her only thing she could do was just hurt herself to get someone's attention. And as soon as I saw what she was on, I knew right away. And we started her on the Protandim. And the first thing Arlene asked me, she said, do you think, how long? Because they're giving me a week. And they said the protective services is going to come and take her. Well, it was probably 3 or 4 days when the helmet and the straight jacket came on. And at that point, we had already talked to her doctor about trying to wean her off the medication. And she was starting to feel a little bit better. And at the same time, Arlene had the same reaction. That's a multi-level. I'm not doing that. And we both were like, no, we're not. We don't care about this. This is about making people better. And if this helps her, we're going to be so grateful. Well, what ended up happening is it did help her. It helped her so immensely that those medications she'd been on, I was able to wean her off. And what the doctor called record time. Some of those medications can take 6 to 8 weeks to wean them off. And I had her off in 3 weeks. And I can tell you that we worked really hard to have that happen. But I think the difference is when Protandim got into her system and things started to operate, one of the things we know that's been proven by lots of the different studies is that it takes down inflammation right away. Those enzymes really, that's part of the action of glutathione as one of the enzymes. It can really go in there and it can really change what happens with inflammation. And so I think that right away it did help her in that regard. But what happened with Adrienne goes way beyond that. And again, we always have to put up front that we don't treat and mitigate, cure, any of those types of things. But I will tell you that within a 4-month period of time, the difference in her was so astounding when they took their family picture from what had just happened prior to her starting on Protandim, and then at Thanksgiving, the pictures were so profoundly different. And I'm more than happy to share those pictures with those of you that would be interested. But what we saw was a glimmer in her eye. And it was probably 2 or 3 months into it, while I was on the phone with her mom, that she yelled from the kitchen, "I want popcorn." I don't think Arlene and I will ever forget it, because she just couldn't believe that she said something, plus what she wanted. It was pretty comical. But the thing of it is she's progressed now. She's been on it for 2 years. And through her, we've reached many other families, including her doctor. When her doctor saw the differences in her, these were things her doctor had been trying to do for a long time. Everybody from the school bus driver to other students in the class. And we've just had exceptional response with Protandim. There are now studies that are being done. And, I don't know how they're going to turn out. I don't know that Protandim is going to be a complete answer for them. I can tell you they still have autism, but I can tell you that if you see it make a difference in kids like I've seen, it's really, really powerful. It makes a big difference. And one of the things that happened, as you can imagine, early into this, is that there was no way Arlene and I could not do this as a business. We had to do this. We had to share this. I think to myself many days, what if I hadn't shared it with Arlene? There's not only her family, but many, many, many other families that have had things happen that have really made a difference for them. And that's what we're here for. And back to my cancer story. So now I go to my oncologist. I see him every 6 months. I tell him I'm on this product. And he just kind of pats me on the head and said, "That's great. It's okay. It won't interfere with anything." And my cancer titers were always high. They were always incredibly high and difficult. And that concerns him, because that meant at any given time it could come back. Well, when I went for 3 months for the dermatology visit, it was another couple of months before I went to that next oncology visit. And it had gone down a little. And in my mind, I thought, well, maybe that was demonstrating why I was still getting the skin cancer. I'm not sure. That's just my thought process. But a year into it, when I went in, my cancer titers really dropped. And then this spring, in February, I went in and I was sitting on my table in my lovely garbed paper robe, and he came in and he sat on my table with me. And he put my hand on his hand. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not kidding. I'm not going to even tell you. My mind was just racing, going, what is he going to tell me? How bad were my blood work? And he said, "We're going to talk. I got to talk to you." And I said, "What's going on?" And he said, "You said you were on some kind of supplement. Something or other." He said, "I need to talk to you about it." He said, "Your cancer titers now are below what normal people's are. And I have no other explanation. I want to know more about this." And he said, "I would really like to have all of my patients walking in here like a breath of fresh air and having their lab work look like yours does." And I wanted to. And so I was a little angry, because that was me paying for my office visit, showing him all the Protandim stuff online. But that's okay. It's whatever it takes. And you know what? I'm just grateful that I made the decision when I saw so many studies. I mean, there are just so many studies. We're up to 22 studies. This last week, we just had another study that's been published. And these are peer-reviewed. That means when they're appearing in cardiology journals, they've been reviewed by other cardiologists. They're being paid for by everywhere from the National Institute of Health to private people that want that research done. But the point of it is, when you see this is real science. And for me personally, that's what I was looking for. I wanted to make sure that I had something that I could explain in my own mind why it was working. And then the results that we've had with so many people now in terms of their bodies just do well on this product. And so I would really like to bring up Bonnie and Kim because I want them to tell their story. I told you when I started that I still am doing veterinary compounding. And I can't tell you, you know, all the pharmacists that are in the building are always fighting over who has to go consult at the window. Nobody wants to take the time. I run to that window because I want to share, because many times they're coming for a prescription for something for their pet. And this works in mammals. That means dogs, cats, horses, cows, you name it. And I think it's an important story for you to understand that this mechanism that happens in mammals. And so I would love for you to hear their story, and that will help you to understand. One thing we know about horses and dogs, they don't know what placebo is. They can't make something up in their mind. And so I think their story is really powerful. And I thank you for taking the time to hear my story tonight. Thank you. Come on up. This is Bonnie and Kim.
Thank you.
So glad that you could be here, and I'm so glad I've had a chance to meet you. It's so great to be in the state of Kentucky. Yes, that is.
We're Bryan and Kim Heath in Ocala, Florida. We've been in the thoroughbred business a long way. I was sitting over there reflecting millions. You know, I was backside of Hialeah racetrack when I was about a 5-year-old kid. My dad, the next year, had a Kentucky Derby with it. I was riding it. I wasn't riding the Derby with it. I was riding a lead program with it back when I lived 5-year-old kid. So, and that led up until this afternoon, about 2 hours ago, we were seeing the yearly over. We've been doing this a long time. And they say, tell your story. And, she's a horse crazy little girl. Let her speak to you in a minute. I've done a lot of things I've done. I was a stockbroker, I was wholesale dress salesman. But what I didn't like about my story in thoroughbred business is that at the end of every month, the numbers were down. We were flushing more money than we thought we were making. It was not a good sound to hear that money go away. But we stumbled into life at it. Thank God for Eddie Prowl, who signed us up and shared this information about the product and about the business opportunity. It's made a world of difference to us, and I can see this business allowing us to stay in the horse business. It's been on for passion. So what happened to us was when Debbie came to us and signed us up, we didn't know why we signed up. We just, you know what? We just said, this makes sense for us. We eat well, we live like Nancy. We take good care of ourselves. But for some reason, it's just made sense for us to do this. So Debbie signed us up. 3 weeks later to the day, our best thoroughbred there, Miss Pangea, had a stillborn foal, had some retained placenta. And next morning was pregnant morning, 2013, I noticed that full-blown laminitis in all 4 feet. And if you're not in the horse business, you probably don't know what laminitis is. It used to be called founder. Devastating disease, probably 90-95% fatal for thoroughbreds, for all thoroughbreds. And it's brought on by infection, stress, and carbohydrate overload. She had 2 of them through it. She lost that baby. She had the infection. And she got the death look at her eye on Saturday morning. I'll never forget, see it before. It's not pleasant to see. And we're in the stall with her with the veterinarian, and Christy was standing in Western medicine, if you didn't know. And she's got her head over my shoulder. She's about 1150, 1200 pounds. It's pretty big. 18 years old, and she's shoving me to the floor, trying to get off her feet. And we tried to stand up. But anyway, Kim is smart enough to have given him some information about Nrf2 Activation a few days ahead. He'd actually read it. He's one of those guys that's like Nancy talking about that sees the other side of the pharmaceutical stuff. So Kim says, how about this? And he said, yeah, let's do it. Let's try it. He said, how much? He said, and rarely will you hear a vet or a doctor say they don't know. And so we dosed her by weight because we don't know. And we give her 9 pills a day. By the next afternoon, that was Saturday, about Sunday afternoon, she's looking out the top of her stomach. She's whispering to her buddies out in the back. She's getting clear eyes. She's stepping out of her eye strain, being a bad patient. And it was that quick and that dramatic. And within 3 days, it came back. We come back every day. On day 3, he shot X-rays of the feet, calls us up, and he said, there's no rotation of the coffin bone. He said, there's no sinking of the soul, which is another comment. There's none. I said, you've got to be kidding. He said, no. He said, in fact, that I got to give you some more antibiotics. He said, I only gave you enough for 3 days. And he said, I didn't think she'd live 3 days. And I said, I didn't think she'd live 1 week. I didn't think she'd live 6 months. So fast forward 3 more days, he comes to full blood again. Calls us up in a few hours. He said, there's another vet coming by in a minute to take the catheter out for the neck. He said, her blood was perfect. So people I run into are telling the story, because this is my story, our story, about this lovely nurse. She's now 21 and picture of health. And we just sold her yearling out of Kingdom yesterday. Sold another one, not hers, but a granddaughter. But everybody says, well, can you say that Procan did that for that matter? I said, no, can't say that. I said, I can tell you this. Our DMSO and our K10 and our Banamine and our fluids are the same as anybody else. Our ice isn't any colder than yours. I said, but the uncommon denominator, the whole equation, is Procan. So you figure it out. I'm not saying that it does that. And we have had, and our friends at Ocala have had wonderful experiences with other issues. One issue being non-sweaters, which we get in Florida this time of year sometimes. Old arthritic man. We had a 29-year-old arthritic man that within 45 days was galloping around the paddock. Nothing else changed in her life. We use it on sales tools. Tremendous results with sales tools. But, I don't want to take up any more time. I just want to tell you though that the neat thing about these products is that, as far as we know, work very, very well. But what I love is the people. I love the people in this industry. I mean, people in Life Vantage. We make all the major meetings, the academies, conventions, and all this stuff. And I have not ever been around as many positive, happy, upbeat people. And you go to these things and you look at the people and you look at them in the eye. Good looking people like and I'm not talking about pretty, we all have pretty girls too. But, and I don't mind them. But, I mean, good looking people that really are here to help you. And we're here, we're not part of this Kentucky bunch directly in the business end of it. But we've got a lot of people that we love in this business, the Locks especially, and Becky Moore. I mean, Becky's making this whole thing happen with all her equipment, and I'm amazed. But Anna and Jim have been special with us for a long, long time. And it's fun to do. And you know what? I really like this business. I didn't know what it was. And I'm 66 now, so last year I started getting Social Security. And I really like that. And because I got it after 6 months. But this is pretty similar. And it's a lot more fun to do than all that 40 years of putting that money in Social Security. It's a wonderful company, wonderful people, and I'm going to give you a love of my life. That's it.
Well, of course, our story is the joint story, but I've taken it a little bit farther with the horses and the animals. We have a lot of people on our team and friends and family that have used it for various different things. In fact, a gal rescues squirrels, baby squirrels. The kids find these baby squirrels that fall out of nests. They bring them to her and she saves them and turns them loose. And she had a couple of them that were not going to make it. And in particular, one of them that she dissolved the Procan in water, and she put eye drops into the squirrel's mouth, and it turned around. became named Protandem Jack, or Pro Jack for short, and is running around happily in the trees out in her yard. And we hear stories about people using their own birds, and of course many other pets. And anybody has any questions after the meeting, we can give you a little bit of guidance on how people are doing. But to give you a couple of information tidbits on the company, at our last big Elite Academy meeting, they discussed our values. In fact, they posted it on the screen so that we could all take pictures of it. People come first, always. Be awesome, attract awesome, and inspire awesome in others. Be curious. Your comfort zone lulls you to sleep. We create the remarkable. It's only worthy of LifeVantage if it's worth sharing. And that's what we share with other people, the benefits of health and the wealth that comes with sharing our information. And a little side note that Dr. Nancy pointed out to me, I had not noticed, on our bottles here, it says from the company, progress is not essential to the human condition. Progress is the human condition. At LifeVantage, curiosity has our attention, science has our back, and we recognize and firmly believe that your growth is the way of our future. So that just tells you a little bit more about our company. And with that, I'd like to turn it back over to Dr. Heath.
All right, so, I think that both Bonnie and Kim are just shining examples of just all the wonderful people that we've had a chance to meet. And I know that it was early on into this little adventure when I was really, really struggling about whether I was going to do this company or not. And my husband, who I'm going to tell you initially was not all that supportive, came to me one morning, we were sitting having coffee, and he said, I just can't even believe you're even thinking that you're struggling about this. You know you're going to do this. There's just no way. He said, this is what you're here for. This is finding something that you found that you're so passionate about, that you have been able to see differences in people. And he said, I think that you really, really, really are meant to do this. And you know what? I'm so grateful for his support too, because you know what? It takes a lot to get out and to talk to people and to help people understand wellness and to help them to understand that this can be real. I think that that's the biggest thing that I struggled with. I think it's the biggest thing a lot of people struggle with, because their thoughts are, well, gosh, if it's so good, why doesn't everyone know about this? And that is a good question. Honestly, a major portion of that is because, honestly, the doctors all haven't heard about it yet. But the ones that have, like Dr. Mark Gordon, who's a cardiologist and is now retired to do this because he found it more helpful to his heart patients than what he was doing. It's people like that that we find in this company, because it does make that big of a difference. So if any of you have questions, I'll be happy to answer those questions later. We have a great line of products at this point in time, all of which are wonderful. Most recently, our Nrf2 was added. And remember when I talked about the cell and that nucleus and how Protandem signals to it? Well, those mitochondria we were talking about, those have to have enough energy in themselves. We have to have enough of them to help our cells work. And that's what that Nrf2 does. It helps heal our mitochondria. That helps heal what's going on with the energy of our cell. And we need to make sure that we have enough energy in each one of those cells to be able to perform optimally what it can do, even while it's on Protandem. So I call that my 1-2 punch. And the company obviously thinks it is. They've bundled it together in this nice little handy package here. where they're put together. And it's really awesome to be able to share that information about this new product. And I'm glad she read that statement, because this company is a company of like-minded people that want to make a difference for people. And they're going to do it with products that are unique, that aren't just something else that somebody else has out there. They're science-backed. Take a look. Go to PubMed.gov. You'll see those studies. We have 22 of them to date, and each one is more astounding than the other. And when you wonder why people haven't heard, I don't know. Look at Donnie and Marie Osmond. I can't think of better examples than they are. And, you know, we now have mice studies showing it does extend life. So I don't know what else we could ask for. But anyway, thanks again for coming tonight. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. And, oh, Bonnie has one more thought.
I got one more thing. I'm going to tell myself tonight. Kim and I were doing a Super Saturday for Anna and Jim over in Louisville a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, a long time ago. And in walks John Cord. If you don't know who John Cord is, he's a very, very successful jockey. And John had ridden a son of Miss Pangea, who ran 2 graded stakes races for us, 2 grade 3 stakes for us. And John walked in on the invitation of Ramon Dominguez. I didn't invite him. Shame on me. Shame on me. So tonight, fast forward to tonight, I'm standing here watching people come in. Who walks in? But Sophie Doyle. And Sophie was signed up, I'm pretty sure, by John Court. And Sophie rode a horse for us a little over a year ago. Did I talk to Sophie? No. So, you know, I'm in the grandchildren now, so shame on me twice. I'm just telling them.
I know.
Just tell everybody.
That's a great story. And the thing of it is, that is a good lesson to all of us. If you haven't heard about this, you're going to hear about it. You're going to hear about it from friends, neighbors. You may have already, and you might be already thinking, oh my goodness, I think I have heard about this. The thing that I know for sure is that more and more people are going to be hearing about it. That's where all of the science is headed. When you look at all the most important cutting edge studies right now in all kinds of disease states, be it multiple sclerosis. I mean, we just had another study finished on multiple sclerosis. And in that particular study, they have a pharmaceutical product that they were using, the company that made that product, and they asked for Protandim to be tested with its product to see how well their product performed the function they knew Protandim already did. And at the conclusion of that study, it states, if you have MS, take Protandim. I was shocked again that would happen. And we now have another study that's come out supporting that same thing with that product and some other products that they did the studies against. So again, these are things you're going to be hearing about. It's going to be in the news. And it's just kind of nice to be able to be some of the people that are at the leading edge of it and ahead of it. So hopefully it's not going to show up in peanut butter and bubble gum like the antioxidants did back in the day. There will be people that claim that they have Nrf2 activation, but what you need to know is that this company is the company with the science behind it that proves it, and the FDA has allowed us to make the statement that it reduces oxidative stress by average of 40% in 30 days in people, in mammals, and that's powerful. So I hope you have a great evening, and thank you again. So questions? Anybody?